Hello everyone, today we will discuss Newton's law of motion. These laws was given by Newton in 17th century and there are three laws. The first law, it is also called as law of inertia. The second law, it is related to force and acceleration, and the third law is called as action and reaction law also. It is also important to note that the three laws of motion are true only in an inertial reference frame. An inertial reference frame can be understood by an example. Suppose you are sitting in a bus and bus is moving with constant speed in a particular direction, then the bus will be considered as an inertial reference frame for an object. Now we will discuss Newton's first law of motion. An object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. Now here in this statement there are two clauses and a condition. The first one predicts that the behavior of a stationary object and the other predicts the behavior of the moving objects. You can understand the Newton's first law by this. When the object at rest, that means its velocity will be zero, there will be no acceleration, so the object will remain at rest. When object is in motion, it means its velocity is not zero, but here it is important to note that the acceleration is zero, so the object will remain in motion and it will have same speed and direction. The behavior of all objects can be described by saying that objects tend to keep doing what they are doing unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. For example, if at rest they will continue in the same state of rest. Suppose a ball is placed on an horizontal surface, then it will remain in rest position until you are not kicking on it. For example, if an object is in motion with eastward velocity of 5 meters per second, then it will continue in the same state of motion having the velocity 5 meters per second in the same direction until we are not applying an external force on it. Here you can see that this is the object of mass m. It is in rest. If there is no force acting on it, it will remain in rest. In this example you can see that an object is moving with constant velocity. If there is no external force acting on the object, then it will move with the constant velocity. Now you can understand the example of the balance force. Suppose an object is in rest. If you apply a 3 Newton force in positive x direction and at the same time you are applying a 3 Newton force in minus x direction, then the object will remain in the rest because there is no net force acting on the object. Similarly here, if an object suppose is moving in a particular direction with velocity 2 meters per second, two forces are acting on the object in opposite direction having the same magnitude, then the velocity of the object will remain 2 meter per second. Now we will discuss everyday experience for Newton's first law of motion. The example is that the car and wall collision. According to Newton's first law of motion, an object in motion continues in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. It is the natural tendency of the objects to keep on doing what they are doing. All objects resist changes in their state of motion. In the absence of an unbalanced force, an object in motion will maintain its state of motion. This is often called as law of the inertia. The law of inertia most commonly experienced when riding in a car. Let for instance, there is unfortunately collision of car with a wall. Upon contact with the wall, an unbalanced force acts upon the car to abruptly decelerate it to rest. Any passenger in the car will also be decelerated to rest if they are strapped to the car by seat belts. But if passenger is not wearing seat belt and car were brought to sudden and abrupt stop by collision with a wall, now passenger would no longer share the same state of motion as the car. The passenger in motion would continue in motion. Here you can understand it by a diagram. Here it is a car and the passenger is sitting in the car. If the passenger is wearing a seat belt and a car collide with the wall, then it will remain safe. But if the passenger is not wearing the seat belt, then when the car collides with the wall, after collision, the passenger will come out from the car. This confirms the effect of the law of inertia of motion. Thank you.